We're starting off high.
We can get
I think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust human to raise back wolves?
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise wolves.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
We in this bitch.
We here.
We in this bitch. We ain't going nowhere.
Woo.
Take a shot to start the show.
That slow march towards the holidays.
I had a good day today.
Did you?
I did.
Did you take the day
I
off?
didn't ignore your comment. I still gotta do my Christmas shopping. I ain't started a motherfucking thing yet. Not one. No, I got one present, one gift.
Well, damn.
Just because I saw it and I was like, she probably like that. Let me get that.
You got a week from Monday, bruh.
Listen. Nah, go niggas like me broke. She getting cold anyway.
I don't know, man. I hear coal's expensive. All those energy producing.
You know what I'm saying? I was actually about to do that. Just get her a whole bunch of gift cards and money and put it in boxes of coal. And I was like, you know what? Unless I'm about to bag this coal back up after I'm done. I don't know if it's worth the joke.
Better figure out how to turn it into some diamonds.
You know? But
When they say
what'd you say?
Nah, I mean, there's got to be some way to make artificial diamonds from coal, right? We've got to have
Listen,
technology.
it don't matter if you did make them, they wouldn't claim them as diamonds. You could make your own purest of pure diamonds, and these motherfuckers would be like, them ain't diamonds, that ain't worth shit.
You can't just put coal in a pressure cooker. That's not how this works.
Listen, man, everybody got air fryers nowadays. We need to do some experimentation. You hear me?
See what happens, just put it under the base.
But what was I about to say? I said something. I said I had a good day.
You said you had a good day.
And
I asked
and
if you worked. Or did you take the day off?
Oh, no, I worked today.
And you had a good day? All right.
No,
I see you.
work. I even work on my birthday.
Let me see you
Shout out my nigga
work.
But I had somewhere I was going with the fact I wouldn't just tell you I had a good day if I didn't plan on telling you something about it.
I mean,
I wouldn't just throw it in your face, you know what I'm saying? But
I came across something today that I had been previously unable to find because you can't find it on Amazon Music. You can't find it on, whatever, Apple Music or iTunes or Spotify. Well, maybe on Spotify. I didn't look on Spotify.
I'm not a big Spotify.
But it was a song I had not heard in a long time, and it was the "Get Your Freak On" remix with Nelly Furtado.
Nelly had a little run for a minute.
Yes, she
was
did.
like a bird for a minute.
Yeah. But that Nelly Furtado all in your stereo. What?
Listen,
Get your freak
she
on.
definitely She definitely had a little run. She was a '90s blip of an Alanis Morissette.
Right? No doubt. She did have. I
Well, I
mean,
guess early 2000s, I would say, more than
yeah, it had
90s.
to have been
Because
the early
Atlantis was more
2000s.
90s now that I
Right.
think about it.
I mean, is she still doing? Is she still making music?
Who, Atlantis or Nelly?
Nelly Furtado. Or is
That's
she
a
just
beautiful
doing?
name when you think about
Is
it.
she still
Atlantis
doing?
Morissette.
Right? Or is she still?
I wonder if it's really hers.
Or if
And I
that's
wonder
a
if her parents
stage
knew the
name.
truth. Wonder if her parents knew the truth.
I mean, wouldn't it be ironic?
Don't you think?
Does it like rain on your wedding day, Cliff?
You know, motherfucker, that's you, motherfucker. You know, ain't no wedding day around here.
Is it a free ride when you've already paid?
Even if you ever a best man of mine, it won't be to no wedding. We having a broom jumping ceremony.
Mazel tov.
I'll still buy you a ring and all that, but we ain't getting no government married. We'll jump a broom and I'll forever be committed, but I ain't putting no motherfucking devils on my documents.
I mean, I ain't mad at that. Let's see. When was the last time she put out an album? Well, she's still alive. That's good. She didn't become a member of the 27 Club.
Yeah, because then she just have I think she just had a picture with Timbaland and all them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a little reunion picture that I believe I saw.
Well, she came back to music in 2020.
Yeah, so I'm saying I know I seen her. And listen, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I voices usually don't go from age.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you were doing something to fuck your voice up, like drugs, smoking cigarettes, and all that bullshit. You listen, we know how Whitney had a voice even doped up. You feel what I'm saying? That's not gonna stop you from just doing your thing. So if you got a connection like Timbaland,
oh, no doubt,
you better come back. If you got any, passion or desire in you, don't waste that connection.
Anything left, right?
That's a connection you don't waste. There's plenty of people that's been in the game for years that been waiting for a Timberland track. So
no doubt.
You better bring your old mid-white ass back into the game if that's what you want to do.
I wonder if she's still a promiscuous girl.
That was.
Yes,
Nelly.
It was. Don't question me.
That was Nelly. She wasn't as promiscuous as she thought she was. She ain't had no ass. And I don't care if you white with no jeans at all. If you getting hit enough, you'll get a little bubble back there. Not up ass, but you'll get meat back there that wasn't back there before.
That's true. There was
no
badonkadonk on Nelly Furtado.
And that wasn't even a bedank. You hear what I'm saying? She didn't have no meat. Talking about promiscuous girl. Bitch, she might still be a virgin as far as I can see. We coming out hot.
Well, now I'm curious. Now I'm flipping through Nelly Furtado pictures to see
if she got kids. She probably still ain't gave it up.
I mean, there are no pictures of her with any kind of back at all now.
Yeah, she ain't no promiscuous girl.
I mean, Cliff, you don't have to have an ass to be promiscuous.
No, not at all. But I do know a whole bunch of pencil sticks that look a little bit more like highlight markers now from being so-called quote unquote.
That's because they got pregnant, Cliff.
No, they don't. No.
Mm-hmm.
This sure ain't. I know some with no kids. You done turn from a number 2 to a fucking Sharpie highlighter, and you ain't got no kids. We know what she was doing, promiscuous girl. And they don't usually tease. You hear me? Fuck out of here, Nelly.
Nelly Furtado on in your stereo.
The powers that be wanted you to sing that bitch.
Oh, no doubt. Well, I don't know. Timbaland might have had something to do with that. Maybe Timbaland was trying to hit.
Or maybe Magoo, because you know Magoo used to write.
Right.
Timbaland was the beat maker. Magoo would write, so he probably wrote her the song like, "Don't sing this," not knowing that we would dissect her. Like, you ain't no promiscuous girl. You teasing me.
You teasing me. You got what you want. I got what you need.
The fuck? Oh, I'm tripping.
So, sir, you got any inadvertent thoughts to get us going?
I do, actually.
All right. Let's hear it.
They poisoning us.
Oh, they are. Well, we knew that.
Well, yeah, we knew that they was putting shit in our food. We been knew that. But I know for a fact now, and I didn't need no motherfucking ingredients list to find it out.
No?
I took a shit the other day.
Okay, I'm listening.
And that motherfucker was standing straight up in the toilet like this. But it wasn't touching the bottom or nothing. You know
that sounds like you've got some solid fiber in your diet, Cliff.
Is that right?
A good solid shit.
I'm doing different. But that motherfucker was standing straight up like an iceberg that struck the Titanic. I'm telling you. And I understand the geometry now, how they say that's just the tip above the bottom.
Right. An iceberg, 98% of it's below the surface.
And I'm telling you right now, I don't know if they feeding us ice. I don't know if they putting dried ice in our food or what it is. But that motherfucker was sitting straight. It was pointing up at I thought it was a compass arrow for a second. I said, God damn, that motherfucker due north, ain't it?
You said it's sitting straight up in the toilet. You know,
yeah.
I'd heard the concept of a poop knife at some point, and I wonder if that's right.
Wait, what?
I can't remember where I heard that from. I think it was a comedian or some kind of comedy movie or comedy TV show.
That only works in Russia.
You don't have a poop knife in your bathroom.
Oh, like something to break up the shit?
Right, exactly.
No, it didn't. And that's the thing, though. It wasn't like it was like sitting, like, you know, like it wasn't like I'm gonna have to flush twice to get this motherfucker. No, it was just floating, like it was waiting.
Just vertical.
Water. Like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker was. I'm telling you, it was due north.
That might be a glitch.
It could have been a glitch in it all, because that was the first time in my 37 years of living, and I've shit pretty regularly. You know what I'm saying? Never in my life have I ever seen nothing like that. Just like this.
Looking like Captain Morgan.
That motherfucker looked like it was pledging allegiance, and I didn't have no kind of flags in the room. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm telling you.
Oh man!
I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't lie to you, Craig. Hold on, give me a second. This heat is on hellfire, and the devil is a liar. So
hellfire and brimstone over in the Jennings residence. Well, I mean, how do you follow up Cliff's poop? I'm not sure. You know, in week 2 of Baldur's Gate 3.
I remember.
What'd you remember?
I remember why I said I had a good day today, right? Because it's my mom's best friend, also cousin. I call her my cousin aunt. Because as a child, I was, that was my aunt. So-and-so.
I mean, Kevin's cousin Michelle is my Aunt Michelle, so I get
that's my Aunt Michelle. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we've got 2 of them. Actually, I've got 3 of them. You've got 2 of the 3.
Oh yeah, I definitely do, don't I?
No doubt. The Reggie and the Smith. I
definitely do. I forgot all about. See, it clears my. So of course, and I don't put names out, but you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely. We already put the name out,
We
but
did.
I was about to, get in depth, and that wasn't necessary. But you are absolutely correct.
The Aunt Michelle's.
Yep, yep, and I love them both.
I think that's the only
But
way I get married again. It has to be a woman named Michelle. Those are the only relationships that I've seen in my life that work.
you don't want mine, motherfucker. I tell you that. That one's you don't want that one. No, I'm just playing.
The views and impressions, the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are purely for entertainment purposes.
Yep, shit. If you listen, you know what I'm saying. It's an education.
All right, so is your cousin aunt, cousin aunt?
Aunt or aunt depends on the name.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Aunt Michelle, Aunt
Eliza.
Cindy, Aunt, right? Like it's not Aunt Cindy.
No.
And if it's Aunt Cindy, you have a very unseasoned Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like certain names, that's how you get the aunt or the aunt.
Oh, now you making me question why I do Aunt Michelle on either side. What would be the delineation between aunt and aunt?
Are y'all's Thanksgivings unseasoned?
No, with neither Michelle.
Yeah. So
it should be Aunt
Michelle.
Aunt Michelle. All right.
They're not Aunt Michelle's. Aunt is usually older, like great.
Yeah.
Like your grandma's sister, or
I hear you
like Aunt Gertrude, Aunt Joanne, Aunt San, Aunt Penny. You know what I'm saying? But aunt is usually of a younger, more
like closer in age to your parents or you.
That's just me. I don't know. That's always how I've understood it. But caveat to that, if you're young and you have an old ass name like Gertrude or Ethel or
Pamela,
then your aunt. I don't care if you're 23 years old. That's my Aunt Ethel.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that.
And they might get upset, but in all actuality, you should be lit, right? Because it's like, I sound old, but look at me. Unless you're just not nothing to look at. You know what I'm saying? Then that's just.
I mean, it's your aunt, so.
You're an aunt and you're young and you ain't nothing to look at. You struck out, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
That's a rough go of things.
Yeah, you struck out. But back to my day, right? And this is in relation, I should say, to the podcast is why. So my cousin TJ.
Yeah.
You know TJ.
I do.
So it's his mom's birthday. That's whose birthday.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. So we over there and, TJ's babies come up to me and they like, well, first TJ came up and said, I've been watching the podcast. Then the babies.
Why ain't he jump on?
I honestly never, I never threw out the invite. I'm sure he would. Oh, I'm sure he would. But I never, that's a good.
TJ, if you watching, go ahead and dial in.
Well, he probably won't watch until.
Oh, he does it. He after the fact. Gotcha.
Well, no. He usually watches live, but tonight's his mom's birthday. I cut out early.
Oh, gotcha. The party was still going.
I cut out early, and I went. It might not be, but I went to my brother's house. My dad was over my brother's down the street, so I said I gotta go see them.
Right.
So they. You know how I go over there, so that's why I said I just now got here.
You're still here, so that's impressive.
You know what I'm saying? But he was like, "Yeah, I've been watching the podcast," and then my babies came up to me, and the middle one She's the firecracker. She said, I loved your dad jokes. I said, oh, damn it. You wasn't supposed to hear those. But, you know.
Hey, Cliff.
I don't share my daughter either, so.
What do an alcoholic and a necrophiliac have in common?
I don't know.
They both want to crack open a cold one. Did you hear about the woman who was?
That's interesting on multiple levels, right there.
Did you hear about the woman who was married or murdered by the necrophiliac?
She never saw it coming. Yeah. Don't take your ginkgo, old man. You ain't gonna get me twice. Motherfucker.
There's another one, but it's a little too risque for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Something about someone being well hung. I don't know.
Yeah, risque may not be the right word, but I agree. I definitely agree.
Man.
I'm not that good. I thought I was that good, but I'm not that good. I thought I could pick back up with the conversation we was having prior to me bringing it back to, and I can't. I remember saying it's hotter than hellfire. I remember that, but I can't remember the conversation we were having prior.
I mean, we literally talked about your poop for 6 minutes of the podcast.
Crazy, though, man. That was a crazy poop. I ain't never seen no poop like that. Shout out in the comments if you ever poop straight up. That motherfucker was like, that poop was the equivalent to like kicking a ball and it landed on its point. And you like, how did it do that?
How'd that happen?
Just, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just standing straight up. It ain't even roll on its side. That motherfucker is perfectly. That's how it looked. Like that motherfucker was in a like a field goal place holder was holding it up. That's how it looked. Like it was on one of those prongs, the kickoff things. Yep.
A T?
It was almost like I did a bottle flip challenge.
You are wild, sir. Here's the other thing I got something going on tomorrow night.
Ooh.
I'm going to the My 2000s playlist concert
with Nelly and Ja Rule. My dad
and T.I. Oh, is your pops gonna be there?
Yeah.
I'm finding him.
He said, I don't give a fuck about none of that. She want to go, though. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Dude,
Nelly,
I am rocking some Timbs, some jeans, and a big ass jersey.
You got to, and put a Band-Aid under your eye.
Right.
I bet you everybody's gonna be like, "Ooh, who's that?"
Is that Fat Joe? Is that Fat Joe?
He's stupid. He back in the 90s. I'm about to give him some.
I ain't a player, but I crush a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, what they don't know is I'm gonna be up there on stage with Ashanti. What's love got to do?
He said that. My dad said that too. He said her pregnant fat ass can't even dance anyway. What's she gonna be doing on the stage? I said, he was ranting. Don't judge him.
Unlike Fat Joe, though, I do go down, ladies. Thank you. All right, moving on.
I mean, I guess you gotta put your little, advertisement out there. And that's all well and good, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not against it.
I consider it a specialty.
But listen, everybody don't deserve the action.
That's true. That's fair. That's just how I keep them coming back.
Everybody don't deserve that action.
Oh man.
And you know what's crazy about it is sometimes, and this is gonna be wild for women to hear. Sometimes men will feel more comfortable doing that than kissing you in the mouth.
Yeah.
And that's wild.
You mean them giving oral? What do you mean?
Even the man.
Gotcha.
The man would be more comfortable putting his mouth on a woman than kissing the woman in the mouth.
Yeah.
And that's a wild thing to think. You know what I'm saying? That's very fucking wild.
That is.
And the fact of me saying that, I lean more to pussy than mouth.
It's only when you go down there and you're like, you hit that Mortal Kombat sway.
Yeah, you don't gotta go down there halfway to know what your plans are. That's a fact.
Quickly switching over to, you go to lean, you kiss down the stomach, and then, it's just fingers at that point.
Once your chin hits navel, you have a decision to make. Am I going back up for air? Or are you submerging? That's the question.
There was a great TikTok on this one. It was the there are two ways a man can enter the halls of Valhalla. Either die in glorious battle, or be suffocated or drowned by a big booty bitch.
Listen, it ain't Valhalla. Because whoever made that ain't had no vagina nowadays.
What?
I said whoever made that TikTok ain't had no vagina nowadays. This shit ain't worth dying for. Valhalla was the heavens. The fuck do you think that any of this vagina is worth that? You are sadly mistaken. Nowadays, I would take a pleasant song.
Let me cater to you.
Nasty ass.
This is making your day.
Like, it's going on.
Beyonce was wrong for that song.
What song was it?
It set all sorts of wrong expectations.
For what?
Cater to you.
Nah, because I feel like that was the end of the era.
Yeah.
That was the end of the era. She was the last. I won't say last.
I mean, do you think she caters to Jay-Z? I don't think she does.
No, but what I will say is I think she understood what that meant at the time of making the song.
Yeah.
And at that time of making that song, she wasn't with Jay-Z.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? She didn't know that it was more business in this world than it is pleasure.
Yeah.
And the pleasure is supposed to be that if you cater to me, I spoil you in reciprocation.
Right.
But that's not the way things work nowadays.
No, everybody's trying to be one up.
You know, you can spoil a motherfucker all they want and they still feel like they deserve more.
Oh, you want me to go off on this rant?
No, that wasn't even a rant. That was a fact.
No, I was just about to. No, I know it was just a fact.
That's a fact.
I took that one very personally because I can relate to that fact.
Right, let's keep it a buck. That's the whole Israel-Palestine situation in a nutshell. I tried to cater to you and you wanted more than I could provide.
Yeah.
And now I'm the bad guy because I can't allow to give any more up. That's what that is.
I see Malk. Agreed, Mike. You spoil them, they want more. Malk's supposed to be on here. Where's my backup? And then the Reets, who I'm assuming is on her man's YouTube.
Right, she had to log into his to be like, fuck that shit. Y'all niggas talking about some crazy shit.
Women have the same decision to make. Well, no shit.
The same decision to make as far as what?
I believe that one
As
came
far as
during
man, right?
right.
Because you catering to me is the reciprocation, is me spoiling you, right? So if you automatically pick someone that can't spoil you and you're catering to them, then you get an ill feeling of it
Right.
all, because that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If you're literally quote unquote catering to me, then that's a job in itself. So, which means that I'm gonna make sure I
That's the
pay
thing.
you
That's the
admirably.
that is the thing that like kills me being on the dating apps and seeing these women that like want a monogamous long-term relationship, but they want to maintain their independence and all that. I'm like,
It
you
doesn't
don't.
work.
That's
It's
not what you want then.
right.
Like,
Right.
and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like
No,
you wanting to be independent, you wanting to run your
you
own
just
shit.
can't have
Like,
your cake and eat it
you
too.
can't have both.
Just like
no
we
one
can't
will be
have
happy.
two. No, I'm just playing. I was about to say something even more ignorant, but that's not.
Oh.
No, because I mean the truth is because you can if you really wanted to.
But you don't really want to, otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the real thing, is that we're not in back in the days when this shit went on. We're in nowadays with a lot of the women. I said a lot because I selected my words wisely. A lot of the women that I just described. Do you want to deal with multiple?
Right.
Do I want more than one of you? Do I want two motherfuckers in my ear talking about Cheesecake Factory ain't good enough?
So you gotta find the ones where that's more than enough.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Move with me into the sewers of France. That's how I know it's real. I'm gonna just hit the next girl that I'm talking to, and I'm gonna be like, I lost it all. I lost it all. It's over for us. Where are we going? And just see what the response is. And if it ain't what I want, it's over.
That actually, I might have to add that question to the dating app.
I lost it all. I lost it all. What are we gonna do from here?
Oh man, and I just
and
lost
if
the
it
game.
ain't, I'm rocking with you. Then I don't want you.
Right.
Because I shouldn't lose it all. Just like you shouldn't stop rocking with me, right?
Right.
But
No
if I
doubt.
can tell you that with the understanding of if I can't provide, I'm not the best mate, and you still choose to be, and I know words are just words.
Right.
But that's the name of the game.
That's a visceral reaction to that, yeah. No
right.
doubt. No doubt.
And don't get me wrong, if you got a good one, and I don't necessarily mean good for you, but if you got a good one, she'll make you feel like it doesn't matter regardless.
Right.
It's up to you to see through the bullshit.
Well, and you know, I've had, I don't know, I've done a lot of reflecting on that front, and like part of the reason why I have no interest in getting back into a situation like that at this point in my life is that I do better on my own. I can make sure my needs are met better than anyone else can. And if you're going to prevent me from having my needs met, I don't need it. I don't need it. Like, if you are going to be someone who isn't willing to meet all of my needs and you aren't letting me like have those needs met elsewhere, whether that's emotional support, whether that's physical intimacy, whatever the case is,
that's a blessing in itself as a man, though.
It is.
To be able to be in that situation, that's a blessing in itself, because it's a lot of men that can't afford to be that way.
No, I get it. I do. But
listen, we just asked not to take it full circle, but we just asked how you made a diamond.
No doubt.
Essentially, that's how you do it.
Pressure.
You know what I'm saying? And a man that isn't swayed by the pressure of your sexuality.
Right. Right. Well,
like, yes, I'm attracted. Yes, I'm getting a chubby. Do I want it? Not so much.
No.
I'm not so much interested to pursue like they are.
Right.
And that in turn usually gets you that girl.
Right.
No, you know what I'm saying? That's the weird.
That's the irony. Isn't
know,
it ironic?
Atlantis, back in. This bitch tapped back in. You know what I'm saying? Fools agree. We ain't had one of them in a minute. She just tapped back in.
Oh, full circle. All right, that feels like a good segue point.
I agree.
So, Cliff, this morning I went down a rabbit hole.
Wait a second, though. And you might have already addressed this.
Oh,
but before the rabbit hole, did you have an inadvertent thought?
No.
No, I'm gonna be. Listen,
I've got to start writing mine down, man. Like I have had them throughout.
I do too. Yeah, I do that all the time. But
you've been carrying us on the inadvertent thoughts.
It don't matter though, because you've been carrying us on the topic.
There you go. We're a good
so
team.
I will say it's equal.
That's the thing.
Relationship.
And I think
ladies,
that's
not to take it full circle again. Do you see the equality?
Right. Equal partnership.
The understanding that you didn't give me what I wanted, but I understand you've been doing elsewhere as well.
And that's why Cliff is my heterosexual life mate.
Don't erase me. Don't blank me out early. You hear me? You did a great job of that last week.
All right. So, and I think that's the difference is that my inadvertent thoughts turn into topics. And honestly, some of yours do too. But I'm quicker to pull the trigger to move mine to topics. Plus, this is one that I know we've talked about, and I think we've talked about it kind of tangentially. And it's been part of other conversations.
You talking about the simi?
Yes, the simulation theory.
The simmies, they simming us.
For anybody that is not familiar with the simulation theory,
do that real quick. I'm about to turn right around this corner to get my lighter real quick.
I hear you. So anyone that is
not hear me
here with the simulation theory, it is basically the belief that we are actively living in a simulation. And that simulation is artificial in nature. It is something that has been constructed. And going deeper into that theory, it's basically that the world around us isn't real. And that we are either, quote unquote, non-player characters in a simulation, meaning what happens with us really truly doesn't matter to the outcome. Or you can take the RPG view, which is there is somebody controlling you from the outside, or you yourself are controlling yourself from like a different perspective or a different world, and it's anybody who's seen a movie like The Matrix, like that's ultimately kind of what The Matrix was. And the reason behind that, or the reason for that, is a possibility. And this was one that actually Neil deGrasse Tyson kind of went in depth on, was that any civilization that has the ability to create an artificial simulation will do so. And in doing so, could create an artificial simulation, which then in turn creates another artificial simulation.
Well, he did say that, but he also said that he doesn't believe the simulation theory to be true.
He has gone back and forth. He is currently on a track of no, he doesn't believe it to be true, but he has gone back and forth multiple times on this.
Yeah, but most recently he said because if the simulation theory was true, that would mean that we were either the first to do it, like the first to create the simulation, or we were
we are like the third or fifth line to do it. Like I thought his whole point,
it was something.
There are like infinite simulations of which we have the possibility of being the one that isn't a simulation.
Well, shit, Elon Musk said that it's a 1 billionth.
Yeah.
It's a 1 billionth that we're living the actual timeline.
Right.
That we're living how the timeline played out in the natural time that it played out. And you know what's crazy about that is
that starts to give you thoughts around. Yeah, that starts to give you more in terms of, does that in turn prove the multiverse theory that it's just the same simulation running at different points?
It has to, for the simple fact that people now are, I don't want to say obsessed because I'm not the people, but in obsessed, I'll use that word, in proving the Mandela effect incorrect. And have you seen the video where the chick was like, and this is where my mind goes immediately.
The
Chick,
Fruit of the Loom.
yes, and
Yes, I saw that.
shows the shirt that she has with the cornucopia. I remember the cornucopia as well.
Right.
On my drawers, I remember the cornucopia. It wasn't just fruit. The cornucopia was there as well. She had a shirt with the cornucopia in it. And my immediate thought was, were you wearing that at the time that
you flipped?
You know what I'm saying? That the CERN part or whatever happened and you got that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more, but how many people really take care of their clothes for 20 years?
No.
I'm 37. So 20 years ago, I would be 17, and I'm sure that the tag wouldn't have the cornucopia.
Right.
But if you go back 10 more years,
right,
I know there was a cornucopia on my drawers.
Absolutely. Me too.
I had tighty whities. I used to beg my mom for drawers. For like boxers.
Right.
Didn't get boxers till I was teenager.
Yeah.
12, 13 years old. Definitely was a cornucopia in my drawers.
No doubt.
Literally and figuratively.
Well, and basically what they've come to say is that Fruit of the Loom has like played into this whole thing and has like altered everything on like their website and everything to show like the evolution of the like logo without it.
I'm glad you said that.
Because it's the only way they stay on the topic of conversation.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you fucking said that. Because the perfect example I could give is Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
In the Paramount movies. Like, or was it
Disney?
It was Disney, yeah, where she drew the...
Yep.
What's it called?
Drew the castle. Or drew the D.
She drew the D over the castle, right?
Right.
And motherfuckers was like, that never happened.
No, it didn't.
But it did. But here's the thing about it. And this is what kind of gave me understanding. The Tinkerbell only drew the D on specific VHSs that had a playthrough for damn, I can't think of what they called it.
Like previews?
Yeah, it was like it wasn't the regular movie. It was like
the edit for TV or something.
It wasn't that either. It's on the tape, like, you know, because that's how people were proving it.
Yeah.
Showing the tape. But that wasn't the regular movie. That was like the director's cut
or something like that.
You know what I'm saying? Where they were doing that. So that immediately made my mind think like, are they doing it on purpose?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you really get into the conspiracy of it all, and you know I'm very deep on the conspiracy because I don't trust anything.
Well, same thing with like Berenstein Bears, right? It was not Berenstain. It wasn't. And this goes back to your commentary around Jewish communities. Like, I'm sure that played a role.
Wouldn't they want to get their name right though?
Or maybe they didn't.
They ain't no stains. How many stains you
Well, but that's my whole point. Is that
mitzvah?
They didn't want it on there.
Hella stains.
Right.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying.
You just blew my wig back. You just blew my wig back in real time.
And I bet you Febreze was some kind of legal battle.
You just blew my wig back in real time. Because the only reason why I say that is to finish my previous statement was I was thinking, what would be the reason to confuse people? And while I do think that they do go above and beyond to confuse,
it's PC.
I do. I do think a lot of what you're saying is right. I never thought about it from that standpoint. Like it almost makes it seem like yes, deception is being played out, but
So
it's not for
here's
that
here's the
devious
one.
reason.
Here's the one for Fruit of the
No,
Loom.
okay, give me some.
The cornucopia is a symbol of wealth and opulence.
And you wouldn't want nobody wearing that.
No.
Nobody but the people. I bet the Rothschilds Fruit of the Loom
Has the cornucopia on it.
I bet these bitch ass inbred motherfuckers still got tidy whities with cornucopias on them. I guarantee it.
Now I need to Wikipedia something.
That's very interesting.
Who
That is
founded Fruit of the Loom?
Well, you know I gotta give it. Listen, while you do that, you know I gotta give a shout out.
What you got?
I gotta give a shout out. I have to give a shout out to the Ninjas of Butterflies podcast.
Okay. What
They really do their research. Like they really do. It's a amazing. If you are interested in this podcast, you'll love that one. If you can get with the yelling and and I said they've cut it back, but they still do it. They said that there's a difference, and I knew this, but I didn't know it to this extent. And I'm gonna butcher for anybody out there. I apologize. I'm gonna butcher because I don't know the exact numbers, but there's a difference between 440 hertz and 420 hertz.
Okay.
440 hertz is apparently the natural vibration of life. You know what I'm saying? Of flowers, of photosynthesis, of all that. 440 hertz. They found that if you reduce it to 420 hertz, it slows the human body down to that frequency, makes it feel tired, makes it feel anxious and anxiety, depressed, makes it feel. They went even further on this podcast to say that in 1935, the Rothschilds made it a law that you can't play music at 440 hertz. The healing, the natural
healing property of it.
So it was to the point that I can't remember what band, but he said one of the bands had to like practice their song to play it at that lower frequency.
Okay.
And ever since then, it's all the music's been played at that frequency.
Interesting.
Now, I zoned out at this part. I might have been on the phone, like talking to somebody because I was working when I listened to it. But immediately I thought, so is it like, since you put a law in place, is it illegal to play music at that hertz? And if it is, I want to make music again. I want to come back and make another album. I want to break the law, and I want to make music at that frequency that will heal and make motherfuckers happy. I don't give a fuck what anybody got to say about. You can come try and get me. But if that is the case,
440 versus 432. I'm seeing 432 a lot.
432, and what was it? 440?
Yeah, 440.
I know 440 was one of them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the natural, but 432 may be what they lowered it to.
Yeah.
That's someone, and again, all props to the Ninjas or Butterflies podcast for that.
No, but, so the post that I'm seeing is 440 is what things are naturally tuned to, or are currently tuned to, rather. 432 is what they quote unquote sound better to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be phrased that way
Right.
on the internet, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that shit's weird. So if 440 is a natural frequency, then why would anybody be on any other?
I don't know, but
why would I want to hear 432?
National Institute of Health.gov.
No, that makes sense. I get that. I'm not gonna lie.
That 432 hertz tuned music can decrease heart rate more than 440 hertz tuned music. Interesting.
And that would explain fatigue.
432
that would explain fatigue right there.
More effective at lowering heart rate and blood pressure than 440.
Right. If you're lowering all my shit, I can't produce. I can't go at my full capability.
Right. That's interesting. No, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for like sound theory, and I think there's a lot to be said because of vibration and like really. So this was something that intrigued me kind of, and this will all tie together. So give me a second to get through it.
No, go ahead.
So there is a mathematician who basically there are two major No, there are two different like major theories of how like physics works in our world. You've got the theory of relativity as defined by Einstein.
Right.
And you've got basically quantum theory.
Right.
And that's how the very small works and how the very big works, right? When you try to use those to explain one another, it all falls apart.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. What connects those things is string theory, which is basically that everything is interconnected through kind of invisible strings.
Right.
And that's what creates the vibration of the universe.
Michio Cocoon.
Something like that, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The Asian dude with the long white hair.
Yep.
He basically said, like, he put a video out to disprove the simulation theory by saying we still haven't been able to figure it out. Like, even with the golden ratio or whatever it is, it explains how the distance apart from flower petals and everything, even the human body, but it doesn't explain how things interact. So until we can figure that out, we essentially couldn't make a simulation.
Well, but that's also that's what's interesting is that someone did the math basically using string theory as the connective tissue between the theory of relativity and the quantum theory.
Right.
And what they found was within like whatever mathematics they used to kind of bring those two together.
Right.
They found basically self-correcting code within the math.
Yeah, I saw that same.
Did you see that one too? Like that's the one that tripped me out.
Well, that's been a thing though. I knew that. Can't think of the dude's name. But I heard about that in 2017, and the only reason why I know that I heard about it in 2017 is because that was when I started this job I'm currently working. And when I first worked this job, they allowed us to keep YouTube on our screens. Like we could watch it.
They could run in the background or whatever. Yeah.
Right. As long as we were still getting our job done. And then they stopped it. Not for no conspiracy reason, obviously, because people abused it.
Right.
And they were. And people still come and put their little phone on with Netflix.
Hell yeah.
They don't bother you about that.
Blocking it on the internet does not like stop the problem because everybody has cell phones. Everybody can listen
why
to
can't why can't I make bets in the office? I damn sure can't log in there. I'll log in and just keep spinning. And yeah. You don't want me betting. You don't want me bettering myself possibly getting money to quit this motherfucking thing. I get it now. But where were we at? I took us somewhere.
So, string theory being the connective tissue.
Right.
And basically almost mathematically
Michio and all that.
Almost mathematically proving simulation theory. And what I get tripped out about is, I struggle.
That kind of scares me though.
Yeah.
Go ahead though. What you
Well, no,
tripped out about?
It trips me out because to me, is that a symptom of like life imitating art, imitating life? Like,
No, it's imitating repetition. If that was the case,
right. But if something is repetitive, then by nature there's a system in place.
right? But if something is so repetitive to the point that you need the system to run without you, you never know when the inconsistency is going to occur.
Right. Well, and I think the other one, I think the other piece of that too was like, does that start to explain? And I can't remember if you sent me this or if this was like a video after the one you sent me, but it was basically like, oh no, you sent it to me. It was the celebrity doppelgangers with like ancient photos.
Said, "Oh, that's the same motherfucker."
Right. Yeah. That's the same. But
you need to be petrified.
But if
that nigga from Ohio too, he's funny as fuck. I wish I knew his name.
I was about to say we should get him on the fucking podcast.
Yeah, we gotta shout him out. I think he's from Cincinnati. That motherfucker should be petrified. That nigga, man.
But
I'm gonna find him.
Like with enough natural disruption in the gene pool, like that shouldn't happen unless there are finite characters. Right. Sprites. Like it's the same thing in like Fortnite. Guess what? There's only so many to choose from. And yes, there may be billions to choose from. But even then you're gonna start to repeat shit.
You remember what I talked about though? You remember what I talked about, and this was probably 2 years ago on this show.
Yeah.
And I said, how do we know that when we shut our games off that those consoles stop playing?
Stop running.
How do we know that those avatars aren't still working while we're not paying attention?
Right. And we're the avatars, Cliff.
Life. Right.
That's our life. We're still playing.
Not be clocking in on us every day.
But that would make us that would make us the NPCs. Which means the simulation can end at any point and we just disappear.
I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
You just gonna understand me.
I think the interesting thing with the NPC thing is, all right, let's say it's the RPG version of the simulation. You don't have any explanation for dreams then. The only one that you have an explanation for dreams. Because if you're not actively playing,
so
nothing's happening.
So here's the thing.
But if you're an NPC, and to your point, it keeps running when you're not there. That makes sense.
Shit. This is the realest shit I ever heard. It was this young lady, white lady. She was talking about like existence, right? And she was saying your depression, your anxiety, all the things you feel. She said, and it kind of almost, and I know this is going to sound wild, but it kind of almost like awoke something in me. But she was saying, imagine you being in your spiritual realm with no knowledge of earth, no knowledge of anything like that, and you being asked, if I allow you to pick your father and your mother to complete your mission, would you be willing to leave here for a few moments to experience that life? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To see if you can't achieve your goal. And I don't want to, that's why I said I don't want it to sound crazy, but I do feel like it kind of unlocks something like, could I have picked my parents? And if you ask me that honestly, yes, I would say yes, I could have. Yes, I definitely could have. Next question. Could I have said I would be willing to go on a journey that I'm not used to. Fuck yes. That's my style.
Right.
Yes, I could definitely do that. And then to go even further, it's like beyond this being a simulation, you were placed in it for a reason. There wouldn't be a reason if you were placed in it and you didn't understand where you were.
Yeah.
But we're on this podcast talking about what we believe to be true, meaning that we have a further understanding than just an NPC player in the game. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you. But isn't
Now,
that the whole premise of the movie Free Guy?
I've never seen it.
Free Guy's the one with Ryan Reynolds where he plays an NPC, but eventually he becomes self-aware. Yeah.
Oh, I need to see it. That sounds to me like what do you call it? Conditioning.
Yeah.
You're conditioning us to feel comfortable with the fact of controlling our world as an NPC. Yeah, I don't really just immediately fall into thinking in that. Nah, nigga, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is if that young, beautiful angel white lady was true, you hear what I'm saying? If she had any truth to what she was saying, that don't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
The programming doesn't mean shit to me. You're gonna change it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna change it to me feeling okay, to me feeling awful, to me being in hell. I understand that. But for me thinking the way she thought that I was supposed to feel these feelings, you know what I'm saying? I was placed here to understand what these feelings feel like. I should feel them all, including pain.
Right.
Including fear and suffering. I should feel them all. Because I may not get an opportunity. We don't know that we may not die and immediately suck back up into an angel's figure. Yeah. So wouldn't it be best to understand everything that people lesser than you were feeling, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a lot going on in this world right now. A lot that can't be explained. I sent you that
the giant
video. No. The giant, nah, fuck all that. The video of them making clouds. And the clouds raining.
Right.
That's not Jacob's ladder?
Well, and like you think about all the places where there's drought affecting, and we have the ability to do that. And...
Right. That immediately came to my thought as well. But first, before that, was Jacob's ladder. You're creating God. You're trying to be God. And what has that ever benefited the earth?
Well, no, because it's always corrupted. But if you were doing it altruistically...
Did I send you the video of the white lady talking about the Bermuda Triangle?
I can't remember that one.
So she said that the Bermuda Triangle was the location of Atlantis. Atlantis had the highest pointing pyramid even above Egypt. Even above Egypt's pyramids, its pyramids were taller.
Yeah.
And it sunk to the bottom. And they said that what they believed, well, what she said was what they believed to be true was that they had a way to travel back and forth through time by standing on these pyramids and allowing, you know, the shit to flow through type shit.
Okay.
They said that the great floods happened. She believes that the great floods happened and the pyramids that allow you to travel through time were still firing. So when it sunk, like when it, the world overtook, like, and buried itself, those pyramids went down into the ocean, and they're still firing the signals of traveling
And
back
that's
and forth
why,
through time.
if you
So
fly
when
over it, you can lose.
so when you fly over it at the right time, if it fires at the right time, you're out of there. Now you're going back.
You're going wherever the time stream is
Right.
taking you at that point.
Exactly. That's what the lady said, and I said that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Because why else are there pyramids strategically placed throughout
All across
the world?
the world, right?
Strategically placed, not even strategically to where you would want to end up in the world, but strategically to the point of aligning it with the stars.
Right.
That means something.
It does. It does. The ones
We
in
don't
Egypt,
know it.
Atlantis, like you can talk about the ones in South America. Like there are pyramids all over the
Everywhere.
world, and honestly,
They say the Mexican pyramids are the tallest pyramids in the world.
Right, and you
But nobody
can't tell
talks about that.
because they're like buried. Like a lot of them have been buried by earth and dirt, and I think it was.
Did you hear that what's the richest man in Africa? It's not Massa Musa. Who's the richest man in Africa? Might be Massa Musa. If it is, there was a story that his
Aliko
brother.
Dangote.
It's who?
Aliko Dangote, Nigerian billionaire.
What era?
Oh, this is current.
Oh yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, no, that's not. Well, I'm saying back in the day.
Oh yeah, Musa.
Right. So there's a story that Massa Musa's brother was the heir to the throne. He's the older brother. He was the heir to the throne. He said, I'm going to venture off in the Moors. That's the story of the Moors. I'm going to venture off to see where the ends of the world are. And he ended up establishing himself in the United States, where we live currently. They've been discovering sarcophaguses in the what's that shit in Denver?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about, the what is it?
Rockies?
You know what I'm talking about? The Hoover, not the Hoover Dam. What is the name of that shit? I don't know, but now I'm sounding dumb. But you know what I'm talking about, the Grand Canyon shit.
Okay.
The Grand Canyon all through the Northwest.
Grand Canyon is Southwest.
Is it Southwest?
Are you talking the Rockies?
I don't know what the mountains are, but they were back in the day. Remember I showed you, I did send you that. The conspiracy story of them thinking this being the Babylon.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And the names being changed on purpose type shit.
Yeah.
They found the Massa Musa's brother was found in the United States. His sarcophagus was found in the United States, which meant that he's been here. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to say anything else, but I'm just saying that that's been a thing that certain people claim to have known about for a while.
I'm trying to see if I can find it. Yeah.
Look up
I was trying to look up Musa sarcophagus.
That might not. I might be in I might be saying it even beyond saying it wrong. It's his brother, so it may not be the
Be the
same.
same
They may not be a
name.
Musa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Back in the days, they didn't
Right.
keep the
Right.
names like we do now.
No, but that kind of stuff is interesting, man. I mean, that's what's there
There's
are
a reason.
things of like that like throughout history, and we know the fact that our histories only go back like that's still recorded history, by the way. Like that was like the 1300s. Like the fact that our history only goes back 15,000 years to like Egypt is the first civilization. Okay, but there was things that happened before that. Like because Egypt was a great civilization. There had to have been, whether it was tribal or anything else before that.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking anything.
But that's where I try to like connect that with simulation theory. Is because if simulation theory is real, then like how far back does history actually go versus how far back does the simulation go? Like that's where it starts to fall apart for me.
Let me ask you a question then. Because we're pretty conspiracy heavy on this podcast.
Yeah.
And we talked about it last episode about how NASA created conspiracy theorists to deter, from what was really going on type shit. So what if all of that old shit was true?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if it was all true? That's the reason why they're covering it up.
And somebody has access to what that history is, what those records are.
You know what? That's half the reason why I sent you that video of the quote unquote embryo being fertilized in Africa. I don't know that I believe that
there's some giant that's about to spawn, yeah.
But if the earth did hold a womb and could birth a new earth, I don't imagine it would change any places than where it was currently.
Right.
And I also don't imagine that the world wouldn't feel that.
Right.
It would erase the current earth.
Yeah.
If the world were to give birth
to a new world. Absolutely.
That's just it seems as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's
so
it took me a minute to wrap my head around.
So for those that are listening, what he sent was this video that shows geological formations that look like insemination and fertilization. And it was time-lapsed video that show, and honestly, it was hard to tell what it was showing from like a geographic or geological, what it is, but it basically looked like land masses that you see things enter what could be an egg, and an embryo start to form, and the embryo is starting to split, but this is all over, I don't know, 10 years of time-lapse video?
No, it's less than that.
Was it 7?
It's less than that because
I feel like it was like
Africa just started splitting 9 months ago.
But the point was that you could see it happening before that.
Right. No, you're right, because that was the reason they started checking to see why the split was taking place, and that's what they found. So you are right. So it's
basically like a cell dividing. Which again kind of takes me back to simulation theory. Like if it's all computer code based and we're just microcosm cells, we're the atoms on a giant life form that's beginning to form. Like
we've been talked about that, and I've been said that. Listen, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if the baby Earth is in the Earth right now, like I really don't want to hurt these take us out immediately. Don't
do what you
ever
gotta do.
worry about us to make yourself anew, because we're not worth it. We're not. We're not worth it. We're not worth it. And the only reason why I know we're not worth it is because we're just willing to sit back and let bullshit happen. You're not worth being around. Honestly, though, like you think about a king would keep right-hand man because he knows what this man is willing to do for him if it comes down to all this shit happening. We are inhabitants of this motherfucker, and we will still sit and watch people rip it apart, and we won't budge a motherfucking finger.
What's interesting on that front is
take us out.
Just this last week, I think it was 200 countries around the world agreed to move away from fossil fuels, agreed to move away from oil. And
you know what's interesting is because they found that they had the ability to do so.
Right.
But that one dude from Africa that found a way to power the cars and the electric without any source of energy, no plug or nothing, they were trying to kill him.
Of course, the oil cartels
were. They were trying to kill him.
Because those in power wish to remain in power.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I get. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where you go, take us all out to take care of the dozens that control everything.
Who would be a motherfucker to say they want all the money in the world?
Elon?
I mean, I don't know though. You know, a piece of me feels like he's either the Antichrist
or he's the savior.
or not the savior. I'm not nowhere
the outsider.
But he's trying to expose what's going on. Now, my whole thing is this. If you
maybe we should ask Elon about the flat Earth, since you know he went to space and all.
He ain't going to space. He shot that bottle rocket, that 50-ton bottle rocket up to space, thinking he could crack something, and didn't crack shit. That's what I will say. I know you trying to take my mind every which way, but
put it on me.
I ain't gonna lie, like I might sound crazy, but I'm leaning more and more towards flat Earth.
I don't know that I can help you on that.
No, I don't doubt that you could.
I don't know.
I don't doubt that you could, but research-wise, I really just don't. I never trusted the powers that be.
No,
we've always talked about NASA and Disney being in. No, I'm just playing. But we've talked about NASA being brought in from German Nazis. Now, we also know that NASA means to deceive in German.
Oh, does it?
Yes. Do you think that all of this would match up in something crazy? Like, they're just telling the truth?
I mean, fair.
We're just now realizing a lot of truth that hasn't been told. I know for a fact that they're about to blow wigs back on purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're about to say on purpose, like, no, we kept this from you, or we, you know what I'm saying? To make people be like,
to basically bolster their own power and standing.
They want control. Why else would you be paying for Ukraine? We don't give a fuck about Ukraine. You think the United States gives a fuck about Ukraine? They don't. It's a point of emphasis, though.
Same with Middle
We
East.
need that area.
Same with Israel.
Same with all those spots. If the world is a globe like you so call it to be, how you gonna be able to get every army everywhere you needed to be at one time? And they've been saying on the United States news, all our troops are designated to Palestine and Ukraine.
Yeah.
So if anybody wanted to, they've been talking about an invasion for years. So doesn't it seem like you've been setting this up? Doesn't it seem like you've been playing this to be the way?
I mean, yes, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You don't have to be my enemy, Asian or Jewish or Black or Indian or Chinese. You don't have to be my enemy. But whatever they tell you is what's going to make you come here. And if you come here, I'm dying by mine.
Right.
If the police come to my door on something that I feel like isn't reasonable, I'm dying about mine.
Right.
And they know that it's a lot of people around here that feel that way.
Right.
So you just want to invade.
That's what we doing. That's what's in the streets right now.
Listen, I don't want to feel like anyway. But what I will say is everybody always said that nobody ever invades the United States because the strategic place of with all the four corners of the ocean and everybody has guns. Well, we finna see how many people willing to use them. Because I see school pictures with little white kids below the age to be able to just be shooting fire. Are they going to show up too? Because the way it's coming, you might need them to be shooting like the little nigga from Walking Dead. What's his name?
Carl.
Little Carl.
Carl.
Yeah, you're going to have to do all that. I'm just saying. I know what's going on. You ain't going to fool me. But I'm done.
Are you?
I'm done. Well, no. I'm not done talking. I'm just done with that.
Well, what else you got for us then? or are we done talking?
Diddy.
Diddy. Oh, you said you were going to go off on Diddy. Let's hear it.
You trying to set me up.
You set yourself up. You said it last week.
This nigga, nah, it ain't about setting me up. He just a bitch ass nigga. Like, motherfuckers been seeing that from a while ago. You know what's ironic is I like Kanye. Even with him going wild out and all that, I'm not saying I agree with everything, but I like Kanye. But I feel like Kanye is the mimic of Diddy.
I can see that.
Not in the same ways, because Kanye was talented enough to do it himself.
He was.
Diddy wasn't.
And then
so
Kanye
Diddy
took
had
the
to
money.
fuck niggas over. That's why Kanye eventually was like, I give y'all's masters back. I understand keeping them in the first place because that's the name of the game, bitch.
Right.
You know how blessed you are to be able to have your masters?
Right. Ask
Even
Taylor.
if you only made one song, one CD. In some cases, one song.
Right.
To have your masters, that's not anything that anybody deserves just for making a album. So the fact that he was willing to give it, even though some feel like it was late, to do. No, he did it on time because Diddy did it after him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Diddy came up in the 90s.
Right.
So Diddy had more than 30 years
of making those royalties.
Are you fucking crazy? And we talking about motherfucking Kanye? Kanye was one of them motherfuckers that listen, this is all speculation. And I would love Kanye to come on and disprove it. But Kanye was one of them motherfuckers that at a very early age, they caught him at a bad spot.
Yeah.
They caught him coming out of an accident. He didn't know what was going to happen. You feel me? Through the wire. They caught him coming out of an accident. So he didn't know what he was going. But once you sign, you can't get out of it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your mom's gone. Why the fuck would Kanye's mom need any physical augmentation? She was grown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She had a grown body. There's no reason for any of that.
Yeah.
She's just gone now. Yeah, we know. I'm not going to say we know what that means. But at the end of the day, the going beyond his specific situation, what do you want?
Right.
Because if you have, when I asked you, would you like to have all the money in the world? If you did, you have two responsibilities. Either to take care of the world because you have all the money in it.
Or distribute the wealth.
Well, that's distributing the wealth by taking care of the world. Or making sure you maintain all the money in the world.
Right.
And that's where we're at, where the people on top are making sure they maintain as opposed to assisting.
Well, yeah, because history has shown us the haves versus the have-nots. The have-nots always eventually win. So the only thing the haves have at that point is to maintain or try to maintain and prove history wrong.
That's what's crazy about it, right? Is because you're absolutely correct. The have-nots eventually winning. The meek always inherits the earth. So if you are the person that is funding the meek, you're king at that point.
Right.
So I don't know why you would consider it to be better being king of keeping in deception as opposed to, I got y'all.
Right.
Because if anybody comes out and they like, I got y'all, y'all don't got to worry about shit, I got y'all. You going to have loyalty to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the shit's all white. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But no.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit. But
what if, here's an inadvertent thought for you.
Okay, I'm listening.
What if those in power are actually people of color and they only see a threat from their own, so that's why they're kept down?
Well, I said that. I said that, and I know that's a wild thing to say. And I know it was a wild episode, but I said that. I said at this point, the way it is, as far as like just the treatment in general, either we are atoning for our sins or we are truly something that they don't want us to know we are.
Right.
Those are the only two options.
Closer to the alien gods, the Anunnaki.
And I don't know. I don't know.
That's why we keep trying to dilute you.
Those would be only two options, though. Either we are now in our life of atonement for our sins, or they are truly trying to keep from us what we are.
What's interesting with that you look at Africa and the Middle East as the cradle of civilization, and whites taking power from there.
You mean
What-
colonization?
Well, even before you got
Let me
to
break that down.
colonization, before you get to colonization, like Greece, then Rome, then yes, Western colonization. What if all of that was done in response to the Anunnaki and the gods? And that is the actual reason, is that the darker skin tone is closer to the gods. And whites are just perpetually living in fear and doing everything they can to keep them down.
Don't try
to keep the aliens from coming back.
Don't try to tickle my toes. Don't try to tickle my toes.
There's another inadvertent thought for you.
I don't mind it. I don't mind that inadvertent at all. Don't try to tickle my toes.
So maybe it's both. You said it's either or. Maybe it's both.
At the end of the day, if this is, to circle it all the way back around, if this is a simulation, at least in my belief, it has to be a simulation by a divine power that, of course, is going to put you in different situations.
Right. It's the all.
You know, I want to see how you may wake back up as a baby just because he has to or she has to see you in different situations of how you. Because I don't think that everybody's worthy. You know, life in general tells you people aren't worthy.
Life finds a way.
You know what I'm saying? If I had double my income,
oh, you'd be unmanageable.
But it wouldn't be in a bad way, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving fives when motherfuckers is asking for. I don't have fives to give.
No, I know.
I can't afford that, but you need it more than I do. Clearly you do. I don't care what you do with it. You can buy
because you're asking.
Little Nick.
You
can do whatever you feel comfortable doing,
right.
But you need it. I don't. So I could never feel like I got all this bread and I'm gonna just sit on it.
Right.
Of course I'm gonna sit on it. You know what I'm saying?
Until someone asks.
Get enough to feel comfortable.
Right.
Nah, it ain't about asking. It's just, you know, you can't give if you have nothing at all.
Right.
It's the cup overfloweth as opposed to filling others' cups before yours fills up. Let me fill my cup, and then everyone else will overflow as well.
Yeah. Although that sounds suspiciously like trickle-down economics, but...
Yeah, no, and it will. But the trust that you have is in the person on top that they keep their word.
Right.
The whole issue with why trickle-down economics isn't
we don't trust who's on top.
It's because no one's letting it go.
Right. Well, and the
saying,
unions,
right.
The unions are what are fighting for that right now. Is you got to quit making 7-figure, 8-figure profits, 9-figure profits, unless you're sharing that with the rest of us that are earning all of that off of.
Unless your union is equipping you with a weapon, fuck a union, because none of the shit's going to change until you really show a motherfucker it's going to change.
Yeah.
That's the end of the day. They just keep pushing you to see how far they can get you before you snap.
It's fair.
And that's not just with you as a regular citizen or resident. That's with the military as well.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers don't want to be where they're at. and nobody's just getting the wherewithal to get it going.
Right.
And I'm not doing it. I'm a nigga. I'll help.
Beyond drafting age.
Fuck the drafting age. I got a half a leg.
Right.
I can't help y'all unless I shoot from my house. That's what I'll do.
And that's what I'm gonna do.
And that's it. That's all.
That's when the immediate threat is here.
Yeah. I'm not fighting for you till it comes to my house.
Till it comes to my door.
And I'm lighting shit up.
And who can
I'm
be
not
mad
gonna
at
say
that?
I've been excited or anything, but if something happens, you got the right one.
And
The right one. Because I'm ready to go. No,
and
that's a bad thing, though. That's a bad thing. Real talk. Me even saying that is ignorant. But it's the truth, though. When you get a person to feeling like I'm ready to go and it's a fight, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't understand
the biggest
why
fights are those that have nothing to lose.
That's a problem. Like, it's almost like you kind of force the country into this point just to see what would happen.
You about to find out. Fafo.
But it's gonna be World War III before it takes place. I just hope that the people of the country are like, no, use this opportunity.
Yeah.
Fuck what they got going on. Use this opportunity.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, that's what I said. Like, they try to reinstitute the draft. Watch what happens.
Ain't nobody going to that fucking draft.
Right.
I wish they would draft my motherfucking brother. Wish you would draft. He's moving in with me. Unless somebody come and try to draft him. You got me fucked up. That go about, well, Chris is, you know. Well, I guess he's still drafted age as well.
He is.
Yeah, both of them. We all live together now.
You about to find out what kind of force this could have been.
Man. But you know how it go. All it is whether it's a simulation or whatever it is, it's still a game to be played. And I'd be goddamned if the motherfucker who thinks they the boss at the 10th level is just gonna bully me. I can't. I'ma just dive off. You know what I'm saying? And what's the point of diving off if you ain't taking somebody with you?
And isn't that ironic? All right. You got anything to take us out,
like
sir?
Rain
on your wedding day.
It's a free ride.
Where you've already paid. It's some good advice that you just can't take. And who would have thought?
It figures.
With that, do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell them to troll.
It's like a white bitch when you first walk in the club and you like, damn. You
got no ass like a Nelly Furtada. We out of here. Peace out, fools.
I've been drinking liquor. Forgive me.